When you are up to 40, you are old. If you are 40 and you are still eating cake, there is one fear common among the old. When you get to your old age, you need less. In old age, the reality of the next world confronts you. There is something that these old men know that we will never know until we get to their age. When you are exposed to an environment like this and you see old age in its vulnerable nature, if you are not humbled, then nothing else will work on you. And now, being with them and interacting with them, listening to them, sensing their fears, it tells you that someday, by God's grace, you will be there. Their fears today will definitely be yours. You know, when you are growing up, when you are young, you kind of like, you don't bother yourself about much of a prayer. When you were much younger, when you don't pay the bills, you don't worry yourself about it. You are literally dragged to the church on Sunday, and your mom and your dad is monitoring you whether you receive Holy Communion. When you come back home, you answer, why didn't you receive Holy Communion? Why were you not sitting in the front seat? Why were you sleeping when the priest was preaching? And all this and all that. In old age, no one does that for you. In old age, the reality of the next world confronts you. There is something that these old men know that we will never know until we get to their age. And that is why you get to see most of these men who were close to God when they were young and at the later part of their lives. In old age, they tend to depend so much on God. And my guess is this: God is the only dependable one. Your dad will leave you, your mom will leave you, your siblings will leave you, all those you helped in life will leave you and will forget, because human beings naturally forget. But the only companion that will never leave you till the end is God and your relationship with Him. And that is why in this moment with them, their dedication and commitment to God is simply saintly. That's what I would describe it as. Come to the chapel, the time for chapel, they are there. No one regulates them. Just say this is the time for chapel, they are there. And you see them lost in meditation. There is something going on in their soul that only they themselves can share. So it really challenges me to develop. It is very important for one to develop a relationship with God when he or she is younger. When you get to your old age, you need less. It's possible for someone to be on the altar for years, but he doesn't know God. He's merely an actor on the altar. And it's easy to say. It's easy by the fruits you know them. But once you encounter the person, you really know someone who has a relationship with God. Majority of the mistakes that these old men made were in their youthful age. When a father is trying to correct his son of a mistake he made when he was younger, the son, moved by youthful exuberance and this juvenile spirit, will never understand it. By the time the son understands it, he's already a father. And by then he will try to inculcate the same lesson to his son, who will not also understand it. So it's like a vicious circle going on and on and on. There is one fear common among the old: fear of being obsolete and irrelevant. And that is why they tend to stick to power, they are attached to things, and they hold their grip and don't want to let go. There is also this spirit in the young ones of trying to grab, snatch, change. And change is one thing that scares the old, because with change has come a lot of things. But one has to accept the reality of life. When you are old, you are old. The youths have a lot to offer. The youths of this age have quite a lot to offer. If you wish to have relevance, draw back, mentor those that will replace you in the right track. And there will be no need for fear. You choose how you age. If my dad was diabetic and my mom was diabetic, and now as a young man, I don't think back and be cautious in what I eat, when I age, I'll have my drugs to accompany my old age. Seeing the elderly ones carrying their drugs about, I ask myself, is this what I want? And again, you see those suffering with that of arthritis. You see some others also battling with obesity and all these things. You ask yourself, is this really what you want? And so it drives you to be cautious. Be careful what you eat and your lifestyle. You choose how you age, even while you come to eat. If you get to eat, fine. If you don't get to eat, you lose nothing. It is better to prepare for it and you don't get to eat than you don't prepare for it and eventually you get to eat and you are surprised. You choose the kind of person you want to be when you get old. Would you want a person who would inculcate knowledge? What would you have to offer? If you do not want to be irrelevant in old age, what would you want to offer that will attract the youth when you get old? What are the youths interested in now? As someone who is old, are you interested in those things? Because the youths can never be drawn to you in your old age if you are anachronistic in your mentality and in your attitude. Then again, tolerance. Being able to tolerate the youths and their exuberances and their crazy nature. You don't teach new tricks to old monkey, you know. You see a young child trying to deceive an old man. The way you correct that child will determine whether the child will come back to you tomorrow and be honest or to run away from you. When you see someone who has a relationship with God die, you will just wish to accompany the person. But when you see someone who, while he or she was alive, was aggressive to everyone and everyone, even before he or she dies, you will even hear the living saying, is he still alive? This person should die. Let us have our peace. A good relationship, you must like yourself first. If you don't like yourself, don't expect anyone to like you. It is in such manner that you will exude peace. Everyone is drawn to someone who has peace in himself or herself. And when he or she comes to you and experiences that peace, he or she will come back. And that is what makes your old age fun. When you are up to 40, you are old. Yes. Because once you get to 40, you are told to begin to avoid certain kind of foods if you want to live long. That's old age. If you are 40 and you are still eating cake, you are sorry. If you are 40 and you are still eating suya and everything, and anything you see, you eat 5 lumps of egg and everything. You are gradually, because your system, the way it used to digest stuff yesterday is no longer the same. So you should moderate everything you do from 40. And that is when you age gracefully. Relate with men, relate with women, have fun, enjoy life. Don't forget your source. You go back there. It is your source that will reveal to you who you are. Have a relationship with God. It matters more than any other thing. You may not conquer your demon. You may learn to live with it and chaining it, keeping it where it belongs so that it doesn't distract you from where you're going to. Of course, through prayer, because without God we can do nothing. John 15. So a relationship with God is everything. And through Him we'll draw faith that will translate our lives into images of the one we profess, Christ Jesus Himself. Thank you.